Top 5 plot holes in Alien Isolation. Alien Isolation. Phenomenal game, but only with a solid story, and sometimes a bit unconvincing and noticeably disappointing story deficiencies. So, let's get started.
Can we see it?
Switch to monitors.
Number 1. Boarding at Sevastopol station. True, I'm not in the position of a captain making important decisions, but spacewalk in EVA suits towards a space station with which no contact can be made. Such a risk seems unacceptable to me. Numerous opportunities for trouble open up immediately. What if no one on the station shows up because it has been taken over by space pirates? Passengers in search of answers could end fatally. What if the station is full of, say, some airborne virus or parasite that acts on people relentlessly, creating hallucinations and making them paranoid and suicidal? Amanda Ripley and her friends would have almost zero chances of survival. And finally, what if some dangerous alien predator roams the station, and there may be more than one? Nevertheless, it is an unconvincing fact that none of the three main characters made these remarks to the captain at the beginning of the first mission. In an alternative version of these events, our three heroes could arrive at the station a little later, after they called Marines and special troops from a nearby planet or colony as support. Gameplay would not have to suffer because of such a minor modification. It's amazing how much this game, for all its advantages, in terms of persuasiveness hasn't made simple fixes that would mean so much. Number 2. Why did Ricardo survive and others did not? After Amanda Ripley returns to the Sevastopol station after the first major confrontation with the xenomorph, the androids embark on the massacre of all the survivors at the station. Before Amanda Ripley reached the Colonial Marshal's office and tried to help them, the androids killed everyone except Deputy Marshal Ricardo. Okay, but why? How? The game offers us absolutely no explanation as to why Ricardo survived. He doesn't himself. Did he hide? In that case, why others didn't? And where did he hide? If he's the only survivor in the bureau, and the android spared him, it just doesn't make any sense. After all, there's no reason why another character couldn't survive while hiding with him. Or, if that's the firm choice of the game's creators, it doesn't make sense for the character of Ricardo to survive just to be later killed by a facehugger. A very unconvincing stuff, these torments with Ricardo. Number 3. Abducted. But why? Towards the end of the game, at one point Amanda Ripley is abducted and transferred to a nest full of eggs. But why? Obviously, so that player for the last time in the game could clash with a bunch of enemies and spectacularly survive a clash with dangerous rooms and environmental hazards. But from a position of this fictional universe's logic, Amanda's kidnapping makes no sense. She lost consciousness and woke up, but was not impregnated with a facehugger. She is restrained, but she releases herself without much trouble. After a few moments she seems to have all her tools with her as before. How? Why? Didn't the xenomorph surprise her during the abduction and probably caused her equipment to fall out of her grasp? Or, if nothing else, didn't xenomorph injure her at all during the violent and rapid grabbing through the long and narrow vents? Very, very unconvincing plot points in an otherwise extremely realistic simulation overall. Number 4. Not thinking your escape through. Is Amanda Ripley even aware of the danger that xenomorph poses throughout the station and beyond? The game presents us the main character as a capable person who, with a considerable lack of resources, manages to get her head out of the trouble and help others in surviving as much as possible. Moreover, she makes fairly rational and reasonable decisions about alien creatures and how to disable them. Until the last quarter of the game, then Amanda Ripley, for some reason, decides to temporarily connect commercial ship torrents with the station via maintenance rig and escape. But isn't she aware that xenomorphs can survive and move in a vacuum and therefore easily move to the torrents in a few seconds? She definitely is, because she saw them moving in a vacuum of space as she walked in a spacesuit and made radio contact with torrents. Then how is it possible that she didn't for a moment think that the xenomorph, or more of them, could transfer themselves to the torrents and destroy her only chance of escape? Again, other characters who are an integral part of her endeavor do not notice or comment on such a very worrying possibility. Had she thought about it, Amanda could have reached the conclusion that she could throw herself out of the airlock in an EVA suit and flow a mile or two from the station and be easily picked up by torrents. Number 5. Disappointing cliffhanger ending. I've never been a fan of cliffhanger endings, and I definitely didn't become one after this game either. A sudden encounter with a xenomorph after a supposed victory is a cool sequence, but after everything we've been through, it is completely unnecessary. Again, why wouldn't a xenomorph kill Amanda Ripley right away? There's no logical reason why not, especially considering she's in a bulky spacesuit and has no weapons ready. So, the end of this horror game could have been a happier ending, and the overall experience would not have lost any of its value, impact or quality. At the very least, a cliffhanger could be subtle, for example, a glued egg to the outer hull of a Torrance ship, and nothing more than that would be quite enough. In addition, the cliffhanger doesn't make much sense if the sequel to the game isn't in the making after the end of the first game, and by all accounts, the sequel to Alien Isolation won't appear until at least 2023, or even later. And there you have it. These were noticeable deficiencies of plot nature in an otherwise superb, retro-futuristic horror simulation of highest order. So, that's about it. See you all next time.